5.
Introducing the one, the only, clean and neat, the only man on the beat to beat the heat, John the Doc Maakaron. What's
Great
up,
Wednesday,
man?
fellas. Man, what's happening? What are we talking about?
Muted.
You're muted.
Oh, here.
There we go.
Boom. We got him, I think. I'm not sure yet. I'll stall until then. Because I got to ask the Doc. Because I know the Docs can tell how it is.
Yeah.
I know you guys in the chat and all you Lions fans. Cause hey, one pride worldwide. I respect our fans.
For
They're
sure.
strong. They stand on their biz. But Doc got to tell how it is. Like, I've heard these deep balls. The verticality of this offense ain't been looking as purdy as
Yeah, there were
hoping.
some reports out there that shit might not be so sweet at Lions camp for this offense.
I was talking a little bit
Oh,
about
you guys heard him? They said they heard him. Was Buzz B on?
It was on.
Go try again, or is he back? Is he still there?
He popped out, so he should be
Sometimes
able
you
to
gotta
pop right
pop
back
out
in.
and show hitters.
You can hear him. No, he's not. They can hear Doc. Damn.
Well, I mean, you guys can hear him. We couldn't.
Yeah, we couldn't hear him. So that would be a tough interview.
I do think I heard him. Yeah, yeah. We've been winging it.
I
Hey,
heard-
Doc,
I
can you
heard
ask her
something right at the
She's
end.
asking
I heard some right at the
random
end too.
questions.
Yeah.
I'll text him out. Yeah, I'll text him. Say we heard.
Oh,
something
he's
right
back in.
He's
There we
back.
go.
All right.
We got
Hopefully
levels.
we got him.
Yes, we do.
All right, there we go. That was a great intro.
All right. This is
No.
Chris. I'm blaming
This
Chris.
time it's me. You can come look. I'm staring at it.
Are the levels green?
Yeah, they're green, but they're not. They're low.
I heard
Very,
something
very
right
low.
before he went to unmute himself.
I got
Wait,
VMix all the way up.
Oh, whoa!
There we go.
Hey, there we go.
Listen,
Yeah.
long
Apologize,
days.
Spencer.
6 a.m. wake up calls, all these buttons you got to push to get on the air. Oh my goodness, I'm feeling my age, right?
Hey, Doc, we appreciate you joining us.
Appreciate your time.
And
man.
it's even better to hear you. But Doc, Easy just asked, by the way, great intro for Doc. Well deserved. The only beat reporter to beat the Heat for sure. How have the deep balls been looking? Obviously, Johnny Morton likes the vertical attack. He likes the passing game down the field. Has it been looking good? Is it a seamless transition?
Okay, well, today, the last couple days, I think people are complaining because the offenses look terrible. Look, quite frankly, the defense is winning. DJ Reed's getting after it. Amik Robertson, competitive. They're trying. They're trying in one-on-one drills, trying in team periods. But as of late, the last 2 practices, the defense is dominant. Today especially, the offense was sloppy. It was not good. J-Mo had drops. Amon-Ra St. Brown had drops. They're trying to move the football. But, guys, the defense, and look, to be fair, most people will say, and it's true, the defense is typically ahead of the offense. But Jared Goff's not crisp. Hendon Hooker hasn't played great the last couple days. And so they're trying to connect on the deep ball, but it just hasn't happened because DJ Reed step for step with Jamison Williams, and the secondary is taking it upon themselves. It's a mission to make it so that life is difficult for the offense. It's been brutal, but you hope that next week in joint practices things can tighten up. But today was the sloppiest you would see, and fans were there. They all saw it. Multiple drops, drives not being executed, and it was not the best day for the offense.
Yeah, we had Herman Moore on a while back. He kind of talked about, like, you may have an offensive coordinator that was part of the last regime that understood some things, but everybody has, like, their own, like, beliefs. Like, oh, I could just if I was in charge, I would have fixed this. I'd fix that. And it feels like that's kind of what they're doing, taking this thing vertical, and that's not how it worked last year. Jared Goff was 31st in air yards per attempt. Like, don't change what was working good. I mean, obviously, if you want to float in every now and again, but clearly, I don't know. I mean, it's early, though. Am I tripping?
Yeah, and here's the part that I guess the people in the chat, that those that are definitely looking and saying, okay, this is practice. This is what you're supposed to do. So this is something that helps when you mess up, when Calvin Shepard sends all the blitzes and the offensive line struggles. This is the way, unfortunately, that Giovanni Manu gets baptized in the NFL. How do you get baptized? You go up against Aiden Hutchinson and you get your ass beat. And you get your ass beat again and again and again. And then eventually you start to learn. And so for us, we sit there and we say, hey, the offense should be clicking and all things. But yes, you're right. They are trying things. They are taking deep shots. But at the same token, you would expect a little bit more in terms of crispness, not dropping the ball, mental mistakes. There was a play where Mason Miller jumps offside and jumps before the snap, and he, cost his team 5 yards in a situational period. So it wasn't crisp. It wasn't great, but you're absolutely right. For those that, look at it the right way, it's training camp. You're supposed to make mistakes. The Lions will grow from it. And I don't think it's going to be a game plan specific deep bomb offense. No, it's just going to be one of those situations where you definitely know where your bread is buttered with this offense. You give the ball to Gibbs, give the ball to Montgomery, set up the run. That sets up the play action, and then they'll get into rhythm. I do think it's temporary. I don't think it's going to be long-lasting in regards to how bad the offense looked. But, look, when it was bad, it was bad.
Yeah, maybe they need to wrinkle this part out. Really quick, I do want to give the defense their due share, but I've been noticing when I read these articles, yours included, make sure you check it out, DetroitSportsIllustrated.com. Is that the right website?
I'll set it up. Don't worry.
Okay. Either way, I'm hearing Kirby on these blitzes getting to the quarterback. I've heard Jack Campbell, Alex Zalone, Brian Branch. Are these blitz packages looking different than what AG offered? Are they being like a little bit more creative? Or are they just executing what they've been doing a lot better since like year 3 of the same philosophy?
Yeah, no doubt. That's the best way to put it. You can check out the observations in detail at Lions on SI. You can follow me on X, as you see, at Detroit Podcast. You can find all the information as to specifically what happened. But Derek Barnes was getting in there, Kirby Joseph. And so what happens is that, when you got Tyleik Williams and DJ Reader, they require attention. And so you got Graham Glasgow and Tate Ratledge and Christian Mahogany. They're definitely focused up front. Now it gives the opportunity for the linebackers and the defensive backs to weave their way in there. And there are blocks going unchecked. These are all learning opportunities, and it's one of those deals where absolutely Kelvin Shepherd is preaching aggression. He's bringing pressures from a variety of different spots to try and confuse the offensive line, and today was not the best day for the offensive line. And so you move forward, and this is a great way to learn for all parties involved, even Graham Glasgow, Tate Ratledge, Christian Mahogany, all, I think, players that are going to be staples of this offensive line. And I look at it and I say, hey, you have opportunities to grow, learn, and remember too, Kelvin Shepherd is just an extension of AG, but now is bringing the pressure because he understands. Look too, the philosophy now, I think, for most teams will be to try and pressure the Detroit Lions quarterbacks. And so for Jared Goff and Hendon Hooker to get that opportunity to see how pressure comes, that's only going to help in the regular season when they face some great defensive tackles, they face some great defenses, and most notably on the road. So this is a good thing. Kelvin Shepherd has his guys rolling, and on that side of the ball, absolutely give him credit. Kelvin Shepherd adds advertised, passionate, every rep is teaching, and I think he's got his guys going. And remember, when you look at the starting 11 of the Lions defense, that's good enough to win games, good enough to bend, don't break, good enough to take advantage. And hopefully this year, the goal has been more turnovers outside of interceptions. I expect punch-outs. I expect this defense to really, really set the tone because Kelvin Shepherd, if you don't set the tone, if you don't come and bring it game in, game out, you're going to hear it from the coaching staff, and you don't want to sit across from Kelvin Shepherd when he's upset.
And looking at that defense and a guy that they kind of drafted to maybe set the tone in the middle of that defensive line, Tyleik Williams, in the beginning of camp and even a couple weeks ago, it was reports, Taylor Ratledge, Christian Mahogany, they were kind of having their way with the first-round draft pick for the Lions. But I've heard he's turned it up since, and he's been looking pretty good out there. What have you seen out of the rookie out of Ohio State?
Yeah, today was real weird, man. It was interesting because he's coming off of a dominant night practice in front of everybody. He's clogging the middle. Monday's practice was set up to be third and short situations, and DJ Reader and Tyleik Williams are stuffing the run. Second unit defensive line is stuffing the run. And Dan Campbell today definitely gave Tyleik Williams his flowers. He's like, look, that guy can stuff the run. He's great in his gaps. He understands what he's got to do. But then he drops the line that was real interesting that I think a lot of people are paying attention to. He goes, but we need him in better shape. And so you're like, what? You need him in better shape? What does that mean? I haven't really seen it per se where you think that his play drops off later on in practices, but it was asked in the context of, do you think Tyleik Williams needs to play in the preseason game against the Falcons? Well, based on Dan Campbell's answer, yes. You need to get him in shape, get him in better shape, as what Dan Campbell said. And he had a lot of praise for the rookie. He's doing his thing, but I think that was a public challenge for Tyleik Williams to set the standard, rep in, rep out. He doesn't care how hot it is. He doesn't care how humid it is. Every single rep, the standard is do your job. And for Dan Campbell to say that publicly, it's a challenge for a first-round pick. I think he'll definitely meet it, hearing that. out loud in front of when your head coach says that. But I think early returns, I like the comparison. Tyleik Williams will be a solid replacement for Aleem McNeil, and it only bodes well when Aleem McNeil does come back. Tyleik Williams is the truth. He'll handle business. He's a great first-round pick, and I do think he'll, first and foremost, he'll be somebody to stop the run, and over the course of his rookie year, will be able to develop his skills in regards to pass rushing. But when your head coach says it, I got to repeat it. Tyleik, get yourself in better shape. Dan Campbell said so.
Those Jedi mind tricks.
That's kind of a theme with Dan Campbell, right? Remember, he did it with J-Mo. He said he's never going to have the elite hands. He's done it with a couple guys.
The public challenge.
Yeah, that's one of his things.
Smart, exactly. And I think that's what Dan Campbell is all about. He's like, look, he definitely praised him, but for all these players, it's about the standard. And the standard is, hey, even though it doesn't matter where you're drafted, doesn't matter how much money you made in your signing bonus, on any given rep, if you dog it. And he also said, too, a while back, when you pay attention, he said they had to talk to Tyleik Williams early in one of the practices and say, hey, keep it going. The standard is a standard. And so it's one of those deals. Well, look, he's a rookie. There's an adjustment when you're going up against when you're going up against Graham Glasgow and Tate Ratledge, you're going up against great NFL competition. There's a difference. Yeah. And so the standard now is raised, and Tyleik Williams now knows it, that if you don't, your head coach is not shy to tell everybody what he's thinking.
Yeah, the in-shape thing, do you think any of that has to do with like maybe him having expectations of being a nose tackle but now forced to be the 3-tech with the injury to Lee McNeil?
Yeah, look, I always look at it from the perspective of the first thing that Dan Campbell said was they did notice in an early practice that his standard was dipped in a practice. That he said it. Dan Campbell indicated that in a practice he noticed that, hey, wouldn't say the word loafing, but it was just his play diminished. And they didn't want to see that. And look, there's an adjustment. There's a lot of different blocking schemes that Hank Fraley also is going to bring to the table. It's not easy. Practices have been tough. And guys, I think you guys know, the Lions run an intensely physical practice.
Yeah.
You're going through a series of drills, and it's an adjustment. When also, too, you got to remember, he came off of a long season at Ohio State and then acclimated in OTAs. He wasn't a big-time participant. So now he's getting a taste of life in the NFL. And from watching every single day in the heat, sometimes I get tired. I'm like, oh, my God, I don't want to write all these plays down and pay attention to all this, but you got to do it. And at the highest level, it's every single rep you got to bring it. And so, yeah, there will be an adjustment as you learn versatility and learn how to handle being a pro, but it'll come. But, man, in a situation in which it's your first year, you're learning the ropes, it's a public statement. You got to get after. You're a first-round pick. That's life in the NFL.
Yeah.
The Doc is 16-0 against the Heat. Just reminding you guys.
That is true.
Just gave you another dub. You got to get
never lost.
I do want to ask. I saw on Twitter floating around Brad Holmes Bull to give the shout out. He said there's a hutch rule in camp where if players or series are blown dead at the fourth down situation, they're just moving the ball up anyway. Is that a hutch rule per se, like per Dan Campbell, or is that just
ending
like
drives too much?
Anytime a drive ends, they're like, we got to get this offense going. We're gonna keep going.
No, that's an interesting perspective. Look, Hutch is in the backfield so much, but look, it's not fair. Literally speaking, Hutch is opposite of 59, Giovanni Manu. That's such a mismatch of epic proportions. It's not even fair. It's not even a competition. Aiden was in the backfield quite a bit, and the best way to put it is in a non-padded practice, he actually was able to put his hand on David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, and it indicates, hey, I got the tackle, I was there. But, yeah, they got to keep the play going, and they don't blow it dead. It's not a rule per se. It's just one of those deals where we all know that it would have been a sack, but they do want to keep the play rolling. Now, if it's really clear and the play is broken down, then the play gets blown dead. But if he's in the neighborhood, he'll do a little celebration. He'll do a little wave like this, and it's indicating he would have got the sack, but the play goes on. So that's just it's just football practice. Similarly, it happened when on fourth down, J-Mo dropped the ball in front of everybody, but they kept the series going for the sake of practice. So it's not the Hutch rule. But listen, we'll put it like this. Hutch is dominant, and he's getting after it to the point that you're writing his number down almost on every play in terms of his disruption, spin moves. And look, he knows that fat check is waiting, and his general manager is telling everybody, hey, it might take a while, but every single day that he has a good day might add a couple dollars in his pocket. So Hutch is back. He's playing great. He's the story of camp. It's amazing to watch.
That's what you needed to be the story of camp too. With what happened with this team last year, you needed to see that out of Hutch, and I expected. I know a lot of people expected it, but it's just awesome to hear it. And another story that's come out of camp that kind of took at least our world by storm yesterday was Isaac Tesla,
the Great White Hope.
The Great White Hope out there running with the ones for a little bit. What if has he continued that? He said himself he was just kind of filling in when J-Mo needed a breather, but how is he getting comfortable with Jared Goff in that first team offense?
That's right. Who's going to save the offense? The big, tall, white receiver from Arkansas, right? But, my goodness, the media's like, we want to interview Isaac every single day. Like, guys on TV and the other reporters, you can interview somebody else. I want to let everybody else know we're seeing him on TV every single day, which is kind of funny.
He's a Caitlin Clark of the NFL.
He's the Caitlin Clark of the
My colleague's like, let's just go find Tesla. He's the biggest, whitest guy out there, so let's just go talk to him. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie.
And Isaac's like, sure, no problem. I'm going to talk to the media every single day at camp.
I was eating it up, but then I heard TK was getting some run with the first team today too. I was like,
right.
Maybe he was just giving out some breathers. I don't know.
Right. He's getting a spell for J-Mo, but look, he's earned some reps. 2 catches north of 20 yards, 46 yards in his debut. Look, the one thing I think that would earn him the opportunity to move up to the ones is the fact that he blocks. And he said it today. He's like, I'm bigger than some of these defensive backs. So he's talented. I think he's growing confident each and every day that he's got the tools needed. And I said on my daily training camp recap podcast that you can find now on YouTube and on Detroit Lions on SI.
Shout out.
You know what? Early on, I was saying, you know what? He has no chance of being wide receiver 3 coming out of camp. Now, I'm open to the idea that today Tim Patrick leaves practice. If Isaac Tesla has better games against the Falcons, what that would indicate to me is, hey, put him in some wide receiver 4 packages, put him in some 5 wide, do some things, and put him out there. Look, it's the NFL. This is not college. You don't need to redshirt him. Put him out there. And right now, based on the production, what we're seeing, he's having a better camp than Tim Patrick. So as we sit, let's open the discussion of, hey, Isaac Tesla should be out there day 1 against the Packers. Let's go. Lambeau Leap in front of everybody. I guess he's accepting the nickname of Coleslaw.
We got to do better than that.
We got to do much better than that, right?
Do better than that,
I said Bumblebee.
It
was funny in the tweet. I don't want to live on beyond that.
I said Bumblebee on BDE today.
It's a terrible nickname.
That's bad too.
Is it? Okay. I don't know. Calvin Megatron, Bumblebee.
Oh.
Starscream was J-Mo.
J-Mo, yeah.
No, Chad, you got to find a better nickname for Isaac Tesla than Coleslaw.
I like the Great White Hope.
Not good.
Hard pass.
The Great White Hope.
I mean, it's passed on like a baton. You got anything, Doc? You're a writer. You should have some on.
Albinotron.
Vanellatron's been out there too.
Vanellatron is good. Yeah.
Vanellatron. There you go.
Yeah.
I like that one. So, are you saying, like, let the hype go? Like, go full steam ahead. We're just Isaac Tesla. Start week 1.
I mean, look at the picture that we're putting together here. The Dan Campbell on the Inside the Den video, which is great. You can see it on social media. He says, I love this kid. The team trades up 30 spots to get him. He's having a decent camp. I'm not saying he's got to be out there for 65% of offensive snaps, but there should be some opportunities if he continues to grow over the next month. We're still early, but he's making plays. He's blocking. He's doing everything. He's not putting the football too much on the turf. He looks like the part. So I'm saying that my early thoughts were, okay, he's going to take it easy, only have maybe 20 catches. Hey, maybe you can up it a little bit, put him in some four wide situations, make him somebody that if Tim Patrick needs a spell, can get out there early in the year. Why not? I mean, I think he's up for the task. I think he's talented enough that he can have opportunities to develop chemistry quickly, and no better way to learn than to get out there and play at the highest level. And look, the third wide receiver anyway is not the focal point of the offense, but another X receiver that you can trust only bodes well for the offense. And so imagine 4 wide receivers, and Jared gets to his pick from Tim Patrick, Isaac Tesla, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams. Good luck. Pick your poison.
Amen.
Let the hype train begin, baby.
Laporta too. Oh my land. Hey, Gibbs running routes now too. Come on, son.
Doc, what's going on here? Nick in the sound booth. Brad traded up for 3 guys that were developmental guys, and we've seen their struggles throughout. You've seen Hendon Hooker struggle. You've talked about Manu getting absolutely obliterated by Hutchinson, as you probably expect, but have you heard anything about Broderick Martin on the field? Can you get anything out of these guys? Or can you solidify that these have been 3 big swings and misses?
Yeah, no doubt. First and foremost, you and I probably got to hit the shave and try to find a way to end the Tigers' 16 to 23 loss, a series loss to the Twins. That's abysmal. That's horrible. We got to do something to end the Detroit Tigers slump, man. It's embarrassing. Coming after the trade deadline, this is what we get? That's horrible. We got to change it up. We got to do something.
I'm with you, Doc. I'm going through it.
I'm going through it as well. That just upsets me. Losing a series to the Twins, that's abysmal. That's horrible.
Disgusting stuff. But tell me something good about one of these 3 swings and misses from Brad. Can we have any hope for any of them?
He's like Riley Green.
Yeah, well, look. Broderick ain't out there. He wasn't out there today. So, in my opinion, I hate to say it, but his stock has never been lower than it is right now. There's nothing. I write his name down. In essence, is he there or is he not there? Unfortunately, his climb has stagnated. Kapoof. Off the mountain. It's unfortunately right now. I doubt that he's going to be involved heavily against the Falcons. I mean, he hasn't been in practice, so we'll see. But as of now, I would have him off my next 53-man roster projection. Giovanni Manu is just learning. Look, the answer as of today for Manu is if something happens to Taylor Decker, they're not going to 59. He will not be the reserve tackle. It might be Jamarco Jones. It might be the new guy, Heron. It will not be Giovanni Manu. That's just the way it is.
Honestly, I'm fine with the Giovanni Manu stuff, too.
Cool
like, I get that's going to take a little bit of time.
It's next year, a little bit of time.
Next year, we'll have the same conversation. Then I'm going to be like, okay, what's going on now?
And just you talked about guys being left off the roster. The big hot news today is potentially a guy that's going to be added to the roster. There were talks about internal talks about Matt Judon, which I was like, why would you just go get Za'Darius? And Brad comes out there today and he gives the GM talk and he says, it goes both ways. You need to work something out, but there is obvious still interest there. Are you said it's boat season, right? He'll be back in a couple weeks. It'll be fine.
I think the interest is there, and look, naturally speaking, no veteran over the age of 30 wants to be in camp. It's hot.
Especially Lions camp where they're hitting every day.
I know, exactly. No doubt about it. And so for Za'Darius Smith, it's an opportunity to sit and wait. And also, if there's 1 or 2 teams that deal with an injury along the defensive line, now he can make $1 million or $2 more. So it's one of those deals where he's looking for leverage and he wants the most dollars. But, guys, you guys know that if he's involved with Cash Doll, the biggest pathway for Za'Darius Smith to come back is for Cash Doll to keep pressing him with her assets to be able to come back to Detroit and be like, that's the team. Understand that this is the spot where you got to be. And so, to me, I'm simple-minded. If he's dating Cash Doll, Detroit Lions are number 1 on the list to get.
I agree. I agree.
I can't wait. I hope that happens. All right, Doc, I got to get this one. Just clarify, are you worried about the offensive transition from Ben Johnson, John Morton, from what you've seen so far?
I'm not worried, but I'm not happy with how the offense is playing. J-Mo, like I said, today was not good. When you have Amon-Ra have drops, J-Mo drops, the last couple days haven't been good, but obviously, clearly, part of the reason is the defense is bringing it to the 10s. They're intense. They're getting after it. But here's the thing. When the season starts and the lights are the brightest, I would fully expect that. And look, in training camp, you're not going to unleash every single thing that you have in terms of your game plan and everything. It's just putting some things in, seeing about the blocking as well. Sometimes you just want to put in a play where you want to see how Christian Mahogany blocks. And so the idea is the talent to me is so great that when the season starts and it might take a quarter, it may take the first 4 games to get fully rolling, but just really think about it. Do you really think a team that features Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams is going to have struggles moving the football? I don't think so. Maybe, in terms of the first 4 games of the season, are they going to be at full force? Probably not, but at the same token, by the time this season rolls around, this offense is going to be prolific. I do think they'll get it into gear, and that part of the game won't be the biggest matter. The biggest matter to me this year, throughout the year, will be, does the defense continue to step up, and can they stay healthy? If that side of the ball picks it up to be a top 10 defense, Now this football team can win 10 to 13 games. The offense is going to do the job. The talent's there. And also, Dan Campbell will work with John Morton to put together the best game plans week in, week out. Don't discount Dan Campbell. And I like the idea of some struggles early on so that you can learn and grow. Tate Ratledge learning, Christian Mahogany learning. The chemistry is being built. So, yeah, it's sloppy. The mental errors you don't like to see. But moving forward, I don't forecast that the struggles are going to be so drastic that it's going to impact the season negatively. It's overblown, and but there is something wrong with the offense at this point in time in terms of the execution. They got to get after it. Let's go. When the defense punks you in front of everybody on Monday night, you should have came back today and had a response. Today they didn't.
Doc, we appreciate you so much as always.
Lions on SI, Lions SI, Lions
Yeah,
SI.
tell the people where they can get your articles. You say you're putting out a post-practice video every day now, so tell the people where they can get more.
Actually, I will say this: if you are a diehard Detroit Lions fan and you want to know minute by minute, up to date, what's going on in Detroit Lions training camp practice, and you're not following John the Doc Maakaron, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Turn those notifications
I'm on it. The noti's on because Doc's fucking from the time the ball's thrown to who catches it when it's hitting the ground. You got to be following Doc, and the noti's got to be on.
Thank you guys so much. The hub of the operation at Detroit Podcast on X. I am now on YouTube, Detroit Lions on SI, and I'll make it easy for everybody to find it. I'll post another way to subscribe at Detroit Podcast. But visit Detroit Lions on SI's website as well. Daily content, videos, highlights. You can see everything that I'm talking about. I'm 16-0 against the Heat, but I'm 0-2 against this microphone. All these buttons you got to push to turn this on. I'm forgetting all the buttons I got to push every single day that I've been pushing for 15 years. But you know what? The one thing I'll say is thank you guys humbly for the invite. I love the opportunity to talk Detroit Lions football. You're patient with me. I'm getting older. But, hey, it's training camp, so I can have a false start. But in the end, as the interview goes on, I hope you guys know, love talking football with you guys.
Doc,
Absolutely.
we love
You're
having
the
you
man,
on as
dude.
always. We appreciate
Listen,
you,
it
man.
takes a lot of energy to beat the Heat. All right,
That's true.
there's some residuals there. You're allowed that.
See you later, Doc.